Welcome back to ETH Channel JF Coin Hunters and Treasure Seekers. Today we've got one of the most exciting coins you could ever pull from your pocket change. Yes, I'm talking about the famous 1979 D Lincoln penny. But not just any penny. We're talking about the kind that can be worth hundreds of dollars, even around $442 or more in today's market. Dollar banknote collision, so sit tight, because whether you've got one of these sitting in your drawer right now or you're just curious, this video will take you deep into the history, design, era varieties, and true market value of this seemingly ordinary cent that can actually be a hidden treasure. INTRO, what is the 1979 D Lincoln penny? The 1979 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and it's part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, a design that was produced from 1959 through 2008. United States, this penny shows Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, a design that's been on U.S. pennies since 1909, honoring the 100th anniversary of his birth. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of freedom and American history. The D stands for Denver, giving it its name, 1979 D Lincoln penny. Scroll a brief history of the 1979 PNNY before we get into the value. Let's understand its origins. Mantelpiece clock. The 1979 penny comes from a time when pennies were still mostly made of copper. Specifically 95% copper and 5% zinc. Why is that important? Because copper has value on its own. Copper prices began rising in the decades after 1979, making older pennies worth more just for their metal content than their 1-cent denomination. This didn't stop the U.S. Mint from producing billions of them, though. Right arrow over 4.1 billion 1979 D pennies were struck. That's a lot of coins, so most of these coins are very common. But that's only the beginning of the story. Dollar banknote. Usual market value, common. Most regular 1979 D pennies you find in your change today are worth more than just 1 cent. But not hundreds unless they are special. Here's the simple breakdown. Heavy check mark circulated everyday penny, 2-3 cents. Because of copper, heavy check mark nice uncirculated coin, nowhere 10 to 30 cents. Heavy check mark uncirculated with red color, original copper luster might sell for a few dollars. Backhand index pointing right. You can clearly see that for most of these coins, the value starts small. But that's not the story collectors want. Gemstone. What makes them worth more? Backhand index pointing right. The real value comes from quality and mistakes. Yes, errors, the secret to turning a 1-cent coin into $442 or even more is all about rare conditions and minting quirks. Here are the main ways a 1979 D penny can be worth real money. Magnifying glass tilted right. 1. Condition. The big KY coins are graded on a scale, from good, worn, to mint state, MS60 MS70 glowing star mint state with strong copper red color, hugely valuable to collectors. In recent auctions, well-graded 1979 D coins have sold for tens to hundreds of dollars when in pristine condition, especially if they are uncirculated and red. Collectors pay big money for that original shine and crisp strike, because it's rare after decades of circulation. Firecracker 2. Error and variety coins, where the magic HAPPNS. Some 1979 pennies have unusual mistakes from the minting process that make them much more valuable than their face value. These error coins can command serious attention from collectors. Backhand index pointing right. Double die obverse, DDO, letters or numbers appear double. Backhand index pointing right. Off-center strikes. Part of the design is missing. Backhand index pointing right. Die breaks / cuds, raised blobs or cracks on the coin. Backhand index pointing right. BIE error, tiny raised line between B and E. In Liberty. Backhand index pointing right. Repunched mint marks, uneven or doubled. D mint mark. These quirks can multiply a penny's worth from just pennies to hundreds of dollars or more depending on how dramatic and sharp the error is. Glowing star. So what about $442? Now to that big number you might have heard. $442 plus. Yes, examples of exceptionally high grade or rare era 1979 D pennies do trade for amounts like this or more in serious collector markets. Crown. While the average collector coin might be worth a few dollars, certain certified, perfect condition, era varieties, or red uncirculated Denver pennies can absolutely approach or exceed the $400 range at auction or through private sales, and sometimes sell for even more in top cases. Imagine turning a coin you find in your sock drawer into a double-digit, triple-digit, or even higher value collectible. That's the excitement of coin collecting. Chart increasing fire brain. How to check your pennies value. If you think you have a valuable 1979 D penny, here's what to do. Heavy check mark. Look for original red color. If the copper looks bright and shiny. Heavy check mark. Check the condition. No scratches, smooth edges, clear letters. Heavy check mark. Look for errors or oddities. Doubled letters, off center. Raised bumps. Heavy check mark. Consider professional grading. Services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade it, which dramatically increases value. The better the grade and condition, the more money collectors will pay. Money bag bell. Final takeaway for YOU. So here's the truth. Right arrow. A normal 1979 D Lincoln penny isn't super valuable by default. Right arrow, but in top condition or with a rare error, it can definitely be worth hundreds of dollars, including figures like $442 plus depending on market demand and rarity. Right arrow. The fun part? You might already have one. Megaphone call to action. Engage viewers. Bell before you go searching your pocket change. Hit that like button. Glowing star. Comment below. Have you found a penny worth more than 1 cent? Postbox. Subscribe for more coin treasure hunts and hidden gem stories. Party Poppers CLOSING. Thanks for watching. I hope this gave you both valuable insight and excitement about the humble 1979 D penny, a coin that proves even small change can be big treasure. Gemstone. Until next time, happy hunting and may the coins be in your favor. Sparkles. If you'd like, I can also give you video B-roll ideas, thumbnails, or title suggestions to make this script even more clickable. Just let me know. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about pennies in the coin world, the 1981 Ultra Lincoln penny. People are saying it's worth a lot of money, some listings even claiming figures like $442 and up. But what's the real story behind this penny? Is it a myth? Is it real? And how can you tell if your 1981 penny is worth a fortune, or just 1 cent? Stay tuned, because I'm about to break it all down: history, errors, market value, rarity, and hidden secrets coin dealers don't always tell you. Fire, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Scroll, Section 1. The story behind the Lincoln penny, 0:30, 1:30. The Lincoln penny has been an American staple for over a century. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, it's one of the most collected and recognizable coins in the world. Over the years, changes in metal composition, minting techniques, and design details have made some pennies more valuable than their 1 cent face value. But 1981 is special. While not ancient or scarce like coins from the early 1900s, the 1981 Lincoln cent marks the end of an era. One of the last year's pennies were widely produced in the classic 95% copper composition that collectors love. Section 2. How common are 1981 pennies? 1:30, 2:30. In total, billions of 1981 pennies were minted across U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and even San Francisco for proof coins. These coins were part of everyday circulation, meaning most you find in pocket change are extremely common. Money bags. So in normal conditions, most 1981 pennies are worth just face value, 1 cent. Even typical uncirculated ones often only fetch a few cents to a few dollars. That's why most people who post videos claiming this coin is worth $442 are referring to specific varieties or rare conditions, not the average penny. Magnifying glass tilted left, Section 3. What makes some 1981 pennies valuable? 2:30, 4:00. Here's where it gets exciting. Gemstone 1. Ultra high grade coins that are in mint condition, perfect surfaces, sharp detail, graded by professional services, like PCGS or NGC, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, not because of the date, but because very few survive in perfect condition. Gemstone 2. Proof pennies from San Francisco, 1981s. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, special collector versions with mirror-like surfaces. Some of these, especially Type 2 Clear S Mintmark, can be valuable in high grades. Gemstone 3. Errors and varieties. Error coins, like off-center strikes, double strikes, or weird planchet errors, are where true treasure hunters get excited. According to collectors, rare 1981 error specimens have historically sold for thousands at auctions. Collision. One famous example, a 1981 No. Mintmark penny once sold for over $1,000 because of its exceptional preservation and collectors' interest in collectible modern coins. So while typical 1981 pennies mostly aren't super expensive, the high-end collector market absolutely exists, and it's where numbers like $442, $1,000, or more come into play. Bar chart, section 4. So is the $442 value real? 4:00. 5:00. Alright, so what about that viral claim that some 1981 pennies are currently worth $442? Right arrow. Yes, it can be real, but with conditions attached. Heavy check mark. The coin must be a specific variety. Heavy check mark. It must be an exceptional mint state or proof grade. Heavy check mark. It might be a rare error or collector graded coin. Most circulated 1981 pennies won't reach those prices, but collectors pay big money for top-grade coins, especially ones graded MS67 and above. These are coins virtually flawless to the eye. One MS67 plus RD, red uncirculated, 1981 penny has seen auction results in the thousands, not pennies. Brain, Section 5. How to spot value in your 1981 penny. 5:00. 6:30. Here's what you should check on your own coins. Look at condition. A worn penny, probably 1 cent. A shiny, perfectly preserved penny? Potentially interesting. Coin grading services can authenticate and value them. Check the mintmark and date. Detail. Proof coins and early strikes can be identified by small differences in design, and collectors pay for that. Search for errors, off-center strikes, double dies, missing mintmarks. These are where rare finds hide. Pushpin tip: if you think you have something valuable, take clear photos and compare with professional coin grading examples online. Or ask a coin dealer. Loudspeaker, Section 6. Final thoughts and market today. 6:30. 7:00. The 1981 Lincoln penny may not be ancient, but it carries history, nostalgia, and collector demand that keeps it in the spotlight. In an age where even low-value coins can become interesting collectibles, one thing is clear: backhand index pointing right. Most 1981 pennies are common, backhand index pointing right, but the rare ones, especially in top condition or with errors, can be worth real money. So next time you check your change, take a closer look at that humble penny. It just might be hiding something special. Orange Heart, OUTRO. 7 to 7:30. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and hit subscribe so you never miss another coin mystery, value guide, or treasure hunt. Drop a comment if you found any rare coins. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. Clapperboard, see you next time, and good luck with your coin hunt. Money with Wings. If you'd like, I can also write a voiceover script, include on-screen text graphics, or help you make thumbnail ideas. Today we're talking about one of the most fascinating coins in modern U.S. numismatics, the 1983 Lincoln penny, and how a seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin can suddenly become an ultra-valuable treasure. Stay tuned. What is the 1983 Lincoln penny? The 1983 Lincoln penny is a coin produced by the United States Mint as part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, a coin that's been in circulation since 1909 and features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back. For most collectors and everyday people, a 1983 penny is just worth its face value. 1-cent millions were made in the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, and most of them look just like the change you use every day. But here's where the story gets wild. Collision YIS 1983 Special. The composition change. In 1982, the U.S. Mint changed how pennies were made. Up until then, pennies were mostly 95% copper, but that changed to a zinc core with a thin copper coating to cut costs. This transition wasn't perfect. Some rare mistakes happened, including coins that shouldn't exist. And those mistakes can make certain 1983 pennies worth way more than 1 cent. Scroll the rare ultra-valuable rarities. There are a few different 1983 penny varieties that can be much more valuable than their face value. But let's talk about the big ones. Fire 1. 1983 copper pennies, transitional error. This is the holy grail for many collectors. A 1983 penny struck on leftover old-style copper blanks instead of the new zinc planchets. Remember, copper pennies weren't supposed to be made in 1983. So if you find one, it's a mistake, and mistakes can be worth serious money. Money bag. Why it's valuable? Only a tiny handful exist. They weigh more than regular 1983 pennies, about 3.11 g instead of 2.5 g. They have that classic copper color collectors love. Chart increasing auction prices. Some of these rare pennies have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Around $23,000 to $30,000 plus depending on condition and rarity. Magnifying glass tilted right too. Double die rarities. Another exciting category is the 1983 double die penny, a minting error where the design elements are struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on letters and features. Money bag. Why collectors love them? They are uncommon. Only a small percentage of 1983 pennies show this doubling. In the right condition, especially uncirculated. They can fetch hundreds to even thousands of dollars. Note: a double die penny in high grade can be more valuable than a regular 1983. Sometimes selling for hundreds if in mint state. 3. High grade / mint state coins. Even without unusual errors, a 1983 penny in exceptionally high condition, graded by professionals, can be worth far more than a cent. For example, certain MS-68 or MS-68 plus graded Lincoln cents from 1983 have been known to sell for thousands of dollars at auction. Face with monocle. What about $442 value? You might have heard a claim that some 1983 Ultra Lincoln penny is worth around $442. And that type of value is absolutely within the realm of real collector prices. Why? Because coins in very high grades, especially those with unusual minting characteristics or errors, often get valued significantly above face value. A coin graded, for example, MS-65 or MS-66, with a notable variety, such as a slight doubling or exceptional eye appeal, can be valued in that range or more by serious collectors. Brain. How to identify if you have something valuable? Here are the main things to check if you think you've found a valuable 1983 penny. Heavy checkmark. Weight. Does your penny weigh 3.1 g instead of 2.5 g? That's the first sign of a potential rare copper penny. Heavy checkmark. Color. Does the coin have a deeper copper color rather than the standard orange? Heavy checkmark. Doubling. Look closely at the words 1 cent and United States of America. Can you see doubling? Heavy checkmark. Condition. Is your coin sharp, shiny, and free of heavy wear? Higher grade equals more value. Chart increasing. Why do collectors pay big money? Collectors value coins based on a few core principles. Sparkles. Rarity. The fewer there are, the more people will compete to buy them. Sparkles. Condition. Coins that look almost brand new are always worth more. Sparkles. History. Mistakes tell stories. And collectors love a coin with a story. Sparkles. Popularity. Lincoln cents are among the most collected U.S. coins. So when a coin is both rare and beautiful, prices can skyrocket. Light bulb. Pro tips for selling or APPRISING. If you think you do have something valuable, pushpin 1. Don't sell cheap. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or authentic grading company. Pushpin 2. Consider professional grading. Companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin. Pushpin 3. Look at recent auction results. Third-party sales tell the real market value. Direct hit. Final TAKAWY. So what's the bottom line? Backhand index pointing right. A standard 1983 Lincoln penny is usually just worth its face value. Backhand index pointing right, but rare error varieties, especially copper planchet coins and certain double dies, can be hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on condition and rarity. Backhand index pointing right. $442. Figure you've heard? It's totally plausible for some high-grade examples or notable varieties that attract collector interest. So next time you're going through change, look closely at those pennies. You might have a little fortune hiding in your wallet. Clapperboard, OUTRO, music fade ion narrator you. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new today, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin? I want to hear your story. If you want, I can also add on-screen captions, scene change ideas, or recommended B-roll visuals to use for your video. Today we dive deep into the 2000D Lincoln penny, its fascinating history, the rare varieties, and how you could spot one in your pocket change. Let's go! Moneybag Rocket. Brain Section 1, a bit of history host, voiceover with coin visuals. In the year 2000, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, coins that carry the face of President Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln first appeared on the penny way back in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of his birth. Since then, this coin has become one of the most recognized coins in the world. The 2000 pennies were struck at 3 different mints: backhand index pointing right Philadelphia, no mint mark, backhand index pointing right Denver, marked with AD backhand index pointing right San Francisco, marked with an S proof coins. Section 2, Normal Value versus Collector Value Host. Most of these pennies are common. If you found a 2000D Lincoln penny in your pocket right now, in normal condition, it's usually just worth face value, that's 1 cent. But here's where it gets crazy: coins that are uncirculated and in pristine condition, especially ones with their original red color still intact, can be worth way more. Some known examples have sold for hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases, even more than $2,000. Gemstones Section 3, what makes these pennies valuable? Host, with visuals zooming into coin details. There are 3 big factors that make a 2000D Lincoln penny worth serious money. Grade, condition: coins graded at high mint states like MS68 or MS69 by grading services are extremely desirable. Original red color. These coins still have their bright red copper look, instead of faded brown, and collectors love that. Rare mint errors and varieties. Now this is where treasure hides. Firecrackers Section 4, rare errors every collector wants. Some pennies have mistakes, called mint errors. These are not flaws, they're opportunities. For example, direct hit wide AM variety FS101, a subtle difference in how the letters A and M in America are spaced that can make some 2000 pennies far more valuable. Direct hit off-center strikes, broad strikes, double dies and other errors, hidden treasures that can drastically increase value. And believe it or not, the most valuable error penny ever found wasn't just tiny money, but sold for tens of thousands. And even some rare Lincoln pennies have skyrocketed to unheard of prices. Moneybag Section 5. Market value today, $442 and beyond. Host. Now let's talk numbers. A 2000D Lincoln penny in very high grade, especially MS68 or higher with red color, is currently trading around or above $400 or more, depending on exact condition and whether it's certified by collectors. Yes, you heard that right. This 1 cent coin can be worth hundreds of dollars, not dollars, but hundreds. And if your coin has rare errors or super high grade, collectors might pay even thousands for it. Magnet Section 6, tips for finding valuable penny shows, demonstrating. So how do you know if yours is special? Here are some quick tips. Backhand index pointing right: look for coins that still have their shiny red color. Backhand index pointing right: check the mint mark. Denver coins have a tiny D under the date. Backhand index pointing right: look for any weird shapes or misprints. Errors might make it valuable. Backhand index pointing right: most importantly, if you think it's rare, get it graded by a professional service. That's how auction prices explode. Chart increasing Section 7, coin collecting today. Host. Collectors pay real money for coins like these because they are pieces of history, minted at the turn of the millennium, with stories embedded in every detail. And in 2025, the U.S. Mint officially ended production of pennies after more than 230 years, making older pennies even more special, That means coins like the 2000 Lincoln penny will never be made again. Bell call to action, host. If you enjoyed this video and want more coin mysteries, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bells so you don't miss our next treasure uncover. And hey, check your pocket change. You might be holding a fortune right now. Money bag explode ahead. Direct hit OUTRO text on screen. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you found a rare penny. We want to hear your story. Musical note: music fades out. Would you like this script optimized for SEO with exact titles, tags, and description text for YouTube to help your video rank? Let me know!